Okay, everyone. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Am I coming out clear? If I'm coming out clear, let me know. I want to make sure that you hear my voice before I get started. A lot of things to go over. You see, and I want to make sure that you guys can hear me. Confirm that you can hear me loud and clear, guys, so that I am not talking to nobody. Um, well, today's live stream is going to be primarily a live stream that will go where I'll go over a lot of different things that you guys should consider if you are thinking about building your own sound rooms. There are many, obviously, good YouTubers out there that have documented the process, that give a lot of great insights, a lot of knowledge transfer, if you will. And It's all helpful because I've watched those videos as well. I've watched a lot of those videos myself, and I can tell you that I've learned from their own experiences too. However, it's kind of like my wife once said: you can read all the books on how to, how to be a good mom, and what you should be prepared for when you have a baby, right? But until you are a mom, you have no idea. Nothing prepares you. No books. No book will give you the knowledge that you'll gather or collect until you become a new mom. And so I got to say that that has been more or less my experience when it comes to building these two sound rooms that you guys have been seeing over the last few 2, 3 weeks, maybe. And I want to make sure that you guys take note of things that I'm about to share with you, okay? Because it is important. You need to know these things, okay? And so before I get started, okay, I want to make sure you all check out my website, jaysaudiolab.com. I listed a ton of Macintosh gear. If you're looking for Macintosh equipment, you should definitely be looking at my website. If you're looking for Nordos gear, I have some Nordos cables, speaker cables, grounding boxes, power conditioners. There are many Nordos pieces on my website as well. All right, so make sure you see my website. I'm going to be uploading some JMF amplification as well, monoblocks, JMF amplifiers, and the matching preamplifier will also be uploaded next week. And so, again, if you're looking for great, use quality hi-fi equipment, always remember, bookmark my website. It is really important that you do, because I'm telling you, I am always going to have a lot of great product, used product. I know not many of you can get out there and go buy at MSRP from a dealer. Okay, so this is where I come in very handy for you. And if you have any trades that you want to trade in to make the deal happen, then I'm willing to listen to see what you've got. I do take trades at trading value. I got to make sure I say that at trading value. Okay, I do take trades. All right. So, Montreal in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. Happy Sunday to everyone watching me right now. I hope you guys are having a beautiful Sunday or Monday morning, depending on which part of the world you are in. But anyway, without any further delay, let's just get started. So, how is the room build going? Room build is going exceptionally well. But I have to say this to you, okay, as a YouTuber, the amount of experts that come out of the woodwork, I mean, they are overwhelming. The amount of expert advice, all these people that are all of a sudden experts at building rooms, at building the proper power requirements, the floor. I'm sure when I get there, when I get to doing the insulation, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of other experts to come out and give their opinion. It's surreal. I get emails every day, every single day, from people who claim to know what I am doing wrong, who claim to understand what I'm doing better than anybody, who claim to be the expert room creator of the freaking hall in New York. keep forgetting the name. It escapes me. I mean, these guys are all of a sudden the best of the best, yet none of them have anything to show for as far as room, but they know how to build a room. So I'm going to question them with, should I teach you how to drive your Ferrari even though I don't own a Ferrari? Is that basically what you're telling me? Am I the best person at telling you how to how to ride your motorcycle even though I don't own a motorcycle? That's basically what's happening. I'm getting a lot of advice from experts, okay? So be prepared for that, okay? As you're building your room, you're going to be in front of a lot of information that's going to confuse you, that is going to do nothing else other than to present to you different perspectives, angles. And so all I'm doing is reading all this feedback and thinking about what that person is trying to say. And if it's something that makes sense, I'll run it by the person that's leading my efforts when it comes to my electrical system, for example. We'll talk about it. And if it's something that's a quick 1, 2, and 3, and we don't see anything wrong by implementing it, then we do it. Okay. I'll give you an example. You guys saw this last video on Friday about my electrical and how I am keeping all those 8-gauge cables away from each other. So, of course, a lot of people are going to say, well, you're running the cables in parallel, so that creates like basically antennas, right? Okay. So I don't see how else I can run 8-gauge wires on the wall when I'm basically routing them to go to different outlets other than them being pretty much parallel at some point behind the wall. Okay. But anyway, long story short, we are going to be putting some conduit. We're going to be putting some steel conduit, and we're going to feed these cables through this conduit. All these 8-gauge wires will go inside of this steel conduit. So we're going to pull out all these 8-gauge cables. Again, remove them from the wall. You guys just saw them inserted. We're going to remove them from the wall, and now we're going to insert them inside of these, kind of like a jacket. Think of it. It's a conduit. Okay. So you're going to insert it inside of this conduit, and that's supposed to help with noise reduction. And it's supposed to help with the top end, believe it or not. It's supposed to get rid of some of this graininess that our top end, you typically hear in some hi-fi systems. They claim that that's due to interference, due to noise. So this conduit is supposed to help tremendously. Okay. So we're going to work on that. All right, we're going to do that tomorrow, Monday. My electrician is showing up tomorrow, first thing in the morning. These guys show up at 7 in the morning and they start working. No one stops until 5 p.m. Okay, so that's one update I wanted to give you about my electrical. Another update I want to give you, which is a big update when it comes to my electrical. I met with the city here in Texas, the electric company, okay? And they have essentially approved for me to get my own power from the street. Yep, you're hearing it. I am going to get dedicated power from the transformer out in the street, ran underground all the way to my shop where my 2 systems will be. And we're going to put a meter there as well. So I never thought it would be possible, the approval for this part of the project, but they came out, they said they had no issue doing it. And so they're going to feed me enough power to basically light up the entire place effortlessly. I'm not going to be competing for power with my main home. That's not going to be a thing. It's going to be essentially my house on its own separate power, and my 2 sound systems, my 2 rooms on their own power, both of them coming from the transformer. And by the way, they are also considering to upgrade the transformer out on the street for this particular project in order to just not starve anything. So they're going to even replace the transformer on that. And I'm going to document this. I am going to document and film it when they replace the transformer outside, because they think maybe that transformer is of age, maybe 10 years old, 15 years old. We really don't know. So I'm going to make sure I record this so you guys can see it. Okay. All of this will be happening. So that's super exciting, guys. Think about it. My own dedicated power from the street for my 2 sound systems. I wasn't even signing up for that, but all it took is a phone call, get them to come out, and they said they are game. They are going to um, be doing it, but that takes anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks before they can come out. So what we will do in the meantime is begin to run all the conduit that will go underground, right, and the whole path, map the whole path, have the electricians begin to work on that, install the meter and all of that, so that when the electric company shows up in 3 weeks, we're just going to tie the work in here to that electric feed. And we are essentially done with the electricity at that point. So there's a lot, as you can see, that you haven't seen yet, and I'm sharing that with you. Now, I know some of you are in no position to do what I'm doing. I simply got lucky, guys, to be honest with you. I simply moved into the right city or suburb, if you will, or whatever. I just moved into the right spot. I got lucky, to be frank with you. I got completely lucky. And so that's supposed to be significantly better for my sound, to be able to just know that I can have my own dedicated power. Okay. So that's another thing that we'll be documenting along the way. As far as the air conditioning, actually, I wanted to talk about the AC, and I know I didn't give enough information about the AC. And I'm going to give out the model number of the air conditioning unit that I purchased, okay, which was not cheap by any means, but it's one of the quietest machines available today. It's also going to be suspended, and it's going to be actually put on some isolation platforms so that there is very little vibration throughout. Like, this is going to be also suspended. The dehumidifier that I spoke about is also suspended, and I'll take images of that, pictures of that, so you guys can see what we're doing here above the rooms. So the reason why the dehumidifier is so important is because we have a lot of community here in the Houston area, and so when we get into that summer where things get very hot and humid, I'm going to be able to just control that humidity inside the room, and I don't have to be competing against anything else. I don't have to be concerned with anything else. And so I think that's a really good thing to be able to have control of. Okay, so I did talk to an HVAC person, so that's another person that's leading that effort as well. Okay, so I have the guys for the electricity talking to the electric company outside. I have a guy who brought to me different options for the quietest machines available, and also he's aware of my need to have very little vibration around the rooms, so he's also focused on that. And of course, the contractor who is gathering the troops to make this a reality. So all of these things are going to hopefully lead to two ultimate sound rooms. And I hope you guys are hitting that like button right now, subscribing to the channel. I hope you guys are really, really staying tuned, because what you're seeing, you're more than likely only going to see it once here, because I don't plan to do this again. I'm not planning to do more sound rooms in the future. Unless somehow I happen to be lucky and buy another home, and maybe in Dallas, and I have to repeat the same process in Dallas, Texas, then maybe I'll do it in Dallas as well. But as far as I know, this is the only time in which I'll be building rooms and showing you guys what it takes. Okay. The floor is the last thing that we do. So as far as the floor, I already told you guys I have landed on epoxy. Okay, and many reasons for that. Okay, a lot of reasons as to why I landed on that, and I'll go over those when the time comes. And the installation process, we're probably looking at another 3 weeks 2 weeks maybe, before we can get started with the installation. And that's going to be a cool process, because soon after that, we're going to have the ISO wall process. That part, that is going to be one of the most crucial videos for you guys to watch closely, because if you've ever wanted to do this for your room and make upgrades probably to your walls, this ISO wall process will be king for you, will be beyond important. Okay, I will tell you where to buy the stuff. They'll give you the right amount that you need for your room. If you've ever considered perhaps replacing your drywall for your room, I would tell you need to look closely, because what I'm going to do can certainly help you out. Okay, now With all that said, you guys also saw the doors, right? 3 doors that are in my garage at the moment. Those are about $10,000 for 3 doors. I know, I know if many of you are saying this is ridiculous. This guy just spent $10,000 on doors. You guys expected nothing less of me with all the high-end gear that you see on my channel day in, day out. Crazy power cords, crazy loudspeakers, crazy everything. I know you expected nothing less coming from me, the ultra hi-fi guy on YouTube. I already told you there is no other ultra high-end channel on YouTube. It doesn't exist. Don't call your buddies. Don't go on forums. Don't read Facebook. There is no other ultra high-end channel on YouTube but Jay's Audio Lab, period. Only I do this kind of stuff. Everybody else is doing the lower level stuff, which there is nothing wrong with doing that. It has a place in our industry. It really has a place. And I may be able to play perhaps with some of this more affordable hi-fi gear, right? I plan to do that. I actually plan to even put Macintosh, believe it or not, on the channel. I plan to play with maybe the 1.25 kW monoblocks and compare those against perhaps the 611 Macintosh monoblocks and do a real comparison. What do you gain by going from a 611 to a 1.25 kW? I plan to do these things for entertainment, for those of you that are very passionate about the brand, and also for my own knowledge. I plan to put those amplifiers on great stands, with great cables, great power cords, everything around them, and including very, very incredible loudspeakers to boot. So the content will be very engaging, if that makes sense. All right. But remember, my priority is the ultra high end, right? The Wilsons, the Magicos, the Sonos Fabers of the world, right? Solutions, CH Precision, Griffin Audio, and Boulder, and so on. That's the ultra high end that I'm primarily dedicated to. That's why I created the channel, right? So, anyway, with that said, I will definitely now tell you that if you have the money to build a room, if you're handy, you're going to save money for sure. Okay. If you're handy, you're going to save money. If you have connections where to get materials for cheap, maybe wholesale prices, you can definitely save money. If you're willing to put in the work, and let's say, I know not everyone has a limited budget. I don't have a limited budget. But if you want to save some money, of course, doing a lot of the work yourself will save you a lot. What I am saying is watching what I do can put you in the right path, the right direction for you to do the same thing. And who knows, maybe you do a better job than I'm doing. I'm okay with that. And so the important part of this process is to make sure that you copy a lot of what I'm doing. If you want to tweak it to your liking, make adjustments due to budget constraints, feel free to do that as well. However, I will say that, for example, with the power, the level of work that the electrical, okay, has is mind-boggling. It actually has made me question the need to go as far deep as I have gone so far with electricity, with the electric part of the room. Sometimes I wonder if I would have been better off just doing standard, regular 20 amp outlets, normal 10, 12 gauge wire, and just inside connect a strom tank or 2 strom tanks and call it a day. I wonder deep down if all of what I'm doing, including bringing power from the outside, is going to make the room sound that much better than if I had bought some Shunyata Everest, Shunyata Denali's, strom tanks, and so on. I don't know. And that's going to be part of the process. That's what's going to be cool about what I'm going to do, right? Is to be able to compare. Basically, I want to do, like, let's say, all my system into the wall, dedicated outlets into the wall, right? No power conditioner versus all my equipment into a power conditioner. I want to make these comparisons. Can a fully built electric system inside a dedicated room beat a power conditioner, a quality top power conditioner? I think that's cool content that many of you guys would love to see. I may do that with people real time here, right? So, and I think it's going to help you guys answer a lot of questions. For all I know, I'm throwing my money away by doing all this electric work. I don't know. I'm simply following those that have done it before me. I will say that a lot of what I'm doing is also part of what Magical did at the factory, okay, in their sound room. And as you know, the Magical factory has like a 2 million, or I think it's a $1 or $2 million room without the electronics. Just the build of the room was a lot of money. And so I'm trying to do from as far as electricity, the approach that I'm taking when it comes to my electricity in the room, it mirrors some aspects of that magical room, that magical factory room. Just so you know, I know a lot of you guys may not know, but there was a lot that went behind the scenes in that room, and so I am trying to take the same approach when it comes to building this room and the electricity in the room. Okay. And so everything is very expensive, very costly, very nuanced. I don't care if I have to stop the project for 3, 4 days to do things right. I'm going to stop workers from working until we get the right pieces, the right parts, and then pick up 4 days later or 5 days later. For me, doing it once and doing it right is the most important thing, because once I seal those walls and those rooms are completely done, there is no going back, guys. I am not pulling out any wires. I am not pulling out any wool. I'm not pulling out anything, folks. It is done. I am not going back. So that's why I'm taking my time doing it. I expect to be done probably by the end of December, early January. That's what I'm hoping. So by the time we get around the Florida audio show, I should have my rooms completely done, which is exciting. So my first show will be definitely the Florida show next year, and I expect to hopefully by then have some serious content created for you guys. Multiple camera angles are some of the things that I want to do. I want to put some better mics, of course, if I can. I got to talk to someone that knows how to do that part of the system when it comes to mics. Remember, one of the rooms will be a reference room, and that room will be static for the most part. At least 6 months out of the year, that room will be pretty much static. Okay, the room in which I'm going to do a lot of the test and tune, if you will be the second room. Okay, and that will still have some incredible electronics, but it's not going to be the room that I'm going to be tinkering with. Right, the main reference room is not a room that I will tinker with. I'm also going to be importing some chairs from Denmark. I want some beautiful listening chairs from Denmark that are comfortable. So I'm thinking about 3 chairs next to each other. Max 3 is, I don't think that 4 makes sense. I think 3 chairs is plenty, because that center chair keeps that sweet spot. And so because the rooms are going to be 17 feet wide, I think 3 chairs is just perfect when it comes to listening chairs. Okay. And as far as the rest of it, the LED lighting, as I mentioned to you, all the other outlets that are audio related will be on a separate panel that is not connected to the sub panels that are feeding both sound systems. So yes, all of the electricity, all of the, again, dimmers, all of that stuff will be completely isolated, connected elsewhere. Okay, none of those wires will be remotely close to the wires that are feeding the outlets for my 2 systems. So we're being very cautious and very nuanced with this process. If you remember too, I don't know if you remember this, I actually ended up getting, I ended up getting 10 Shunyata outlets. So I have 10 audiophile grade outlets coming in the next, hopefully 7 to 10 business days. Okay. I decided to go with Shunyata because it's very cost efficient proposition. Okay. They were not a lot of money. And I didn't want to do any of those fewer techs, because to be frank with you, 10 at like $400 a pop, it's like $4,000. Okay, that's something I cannot eat at this point. So I've decided to go with Shunyata outlets for the time being, and they should be more than enough. I've had great results with Shunyata outlets. So if you have never had a Shunyata outlet, I will tell you that I've had them in my last room, and I've always liked what they did. Highly recommend them. They are cryogenically, or they're treated. They have this cryo process done to them. So they're like $100 a pop, I think it is, something like that. It's not even that much money in comparison to some other outlets. So I strongly suggest that you look at Shunyata outlets. I've had great results with them. Okay. Let me take some questions at this time and then see where you guys are at. If you have any questions, feel free to put them up. I will go ahead and read them and then see what I can begin to answer. Okay. Jay, is the bill going good so far? So far, so good, Jay. So far, so good. Okay, Jay, have you needed to increase your original budget since you started this incredible project? Adrian, yes. I've already started to increase it by, I think right now I'm up to like 15 grand, something like that from where we started. And right now we're not even 50% done with the project. So I'm already like 15,000 above what I expected. Right. Happily Sunday, audiophile cat. Happy Sunday to you as well. And yes, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for helping out and reminding everybody else to hit the like button and subscribe. Here it is. Theory and practice are always different. Always. I promise you. Always. Okay. Always. That's why letting someone else do the work first and you watching and obviously taking bits and pieces of what that person did is more instrumental for you than you know. Welcome to my house, Raphael. Hello from Finland. Wow, Finland. I never knew we had people from Finland watching me. That's great. Greetings from the UK. Beautiful country, Adrian. Beautiful country, the UK. The world is never short of experts. Always. Always. You know it. Always. An avalanche, often questionable advice, I'm sure. All self-proclaimed smartest guys in the room show up. Always. Always. You're going to get a lot of those. A lot of those. But none of them do it. None of them do it in their own space. None of them do it. I'm not saying that there might not be one or two that have done something really cool. But the majority that are giving an opinion and that know how to handle this, they don't have this. So it's like, I don't know if I should believe you then. Audiophile cat, always go with your own natural instincts before you can live with the consequences. That's exactly right, audiophile cat. Exactly right. In one of your videos at a hi-fi show, you see a specialty fuse block for high-end stereo. Is that something you consider adding? I did not do that because we are going with an Eaton breaker box because it's pure copper. Okay, and that is what the project calls for. Those are the boxes that have been tested to give exceptional results without you having to go crazy and spend crazy money on some audiophile grade boxes. Now, I'm not saying this box that you're talking about isn't something special. That's not what I'm saying. And maybe, who knows, maybe in 3 years I decide to get 2 of those boxes and replace the ones that I'm putting in right now. But I think right now starting with a base is important, and I want to build that foundation first, right? So I'm going to buy these Eaton boxes, breaker boxes, for the time being, because that's what that white paper calls for to make this electricity as good as it gets. Conduit, yes, that's going to be part of it. So the cables, the 8-gauge wires, will be put right through a conduit. That's going to get done tomorrow, hopefully, or Tuesday. We're going to pull those wires out of the wall, wall, and then put them right through this conduit in order to lower the noise floor. So that's supposed to be significant, the improvements that brings to the table. Todd, yeah, putting all the wiring in conduit should definitely help cut down on stray magnetic fields impacting other wires, but not certainly how it will change the sound. Yep, agreed. And we're just going to do it. You know why? Because everything's still in the open. It's just a matter of grabbing the wires out and inserting them through the conduit. So for me, it's like, yeah, it's going to cost me money in terms of labor, right? Because now those workers need to pull those cables out. That's undo what they did. As far as labor, it's going to cost me, right? Added labor. But you know what? Why not do it? I'm in front of what needs to be tackled. You see what I'm saying, Todd? So why not? At this point, what doesn't matter? Might as well do it. Separate power is a great thing. It certainly is, Con Man. It definitely is. And yes, I'm getting separate power from the city, as I said to you. That's going to be killer. My rooms are going to be epic. I hope so. I hope so. Have you consider a half bath? High res. I have a full blown apartment for my guests, believe it or not, right next door to the sound rooms. You guys have not seen that apartment yet, but I have a full blown apartment that that has a full bathroom, half bathroom, a living room, a kitchen, like a laundry room, a bedroom. It literally means you opening the door, walking 10 steps, and you're inside that apartment. And that apartment is not part of like, it's my house, but it's not in my house, if that makes sense. It's on the outside. So people can go to that half bathroom. I don't have to build anything. The transformer on the street must be audio grade, silver plated secondary. Well, I don't think they're going to do a audiophile grade transformer in the city, man. You know, that's not going to happen, right? These are their industrial transformers. You can't put an audiophile grade transformer out like that, you know, because first of all, that's just who knows how much that is, and that's not something the city would ever do. All right, you just need a hot tub. Yep, I do. Bring in the Wilson Audio Alex V's when the time is right. Believe that they're special compared to the XVX. Maybe so, Jay. Maybe so. I haven't owned them, so I'm in no position to talk about the Alex V. But I have owned the Alex, and it was a fantastic speaker. The original Alex was a fantastic speaker. All of the heat from equipment, did they take all of that, man? Steven, everything was taken into account. Everything, man. And plus, the heat of the equipment, to be frank with you, is not substantial. It's not substantial heat because, first of all, these things are not going to be running 24/7. Number one, okay. The only thing that's going to be running 24/7 is probably a preamplifier and a DAC. That's pretty much it. I'm not going to keep my Apex monoblocks in full bias on 24/7. You know what I'm saying? It's not something I'm going to do. So the heat is so minimal from the electronics. It doesn't put a dent. The rooms are large already, 11-foot ceilings. You know, there's enough for the equipment. So I'm not concerned with that in the least bit. $10,000 for doors doesn't sound unreasonable to me, considering the level you're seeking. Well, so here's the deal, Todd. So this is something you may not know, and a lot of you guys may not know. I contacted another door company. Check this out. They are like under contract with the military. They have like 100 doors that the military ordered through them. This is another different company, not the one that I went with. And so I called them trying to figure out if maybe they had a better price point for me. And you know what they told me? It was $15,000 per door. Their doors, $15,000 per door. I'm like, dude, I'm not spending $45K on 3 doors. I mean, I'm not doing that, man. I just, that's ridiculous. That's why I'm like, no, these for 10 grand, 3 of them, that's sufficient. Okay, that's sufficient. So yeah, but I called another big dog company, big baller company. When they said our doors start at 15K, I'm like, dude, I'm not doing that. Sorry. Do it right, do it once. That's my approach right now, guys. Do it right, do it once, be done with it. I will learn a lot from this. And I'm not going to become like an expert at it. That's not what I'm here to do or pretend to know everything. But what I think I will be able to do is, again, as part of my consultation service, which I offer, in case you don't know by now, hopefully you do know that if you go to my website, you can actually have a consultation, a one-on-one with me, so we can go over your system needs and requirements, and I can make equipment recommendations, okay, for you guys. Those of you that are looking for that next amplifier or preamplifier and are confused, you may want to set up a consultation with me. Anyway, so the build, this system, this room build will allow me also to, you know, basically give you some sort of direction when it's your turn to build your room, because now I'm in position to tell you, hey, this is what I did, this is who I got it from, talk to this person, they know exactly what they're doing. Or, you know, or maybe if the electric didn't work for me, why is that, what happened, you know, and I'll be able to give you more feedback based on my own trials. See, one thing you don't realize is this: a lot of people that have their sound rooms are pretty much systems inside a room that's inside a house. And all they typically do is add some acoustic treatment and some dedicated outlets. The walls are nothing special. The floor is nothing special. There's no isolation of the electrical like I'm doing. There is no 8-gauge wire behind the walls. They just hired an electrician to run 2 dedicated outlets and they called it a day. And that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But that's not a specialty sound room. It's a sound room, no question about it, but it's not a specialty sound room. There's a huge difference there with what I'm doing. It's not even in the same conversation. A room that's inside a home where they're using the same walls, they haven't done actual ISO wall treatment and act like a real strategy. It's a sound room, but it's not a real high-end sound room. And I'm going after a real high-end sound room. That's what I'm going after. I think you're doing the right things with the power while you're building. Is definitely time to get it right. Not going to want to have to rewire it later. I'm not rewiring anything. Hell yeah, Jay. Have talked to you about Ethernet plans. Have I talked to? Okay, yeah. I'm going to be talking about the internet when the time comes. To be honest with you, right now I'm not too happy with AT&T, and I see we have a new internet company dropping fiber optic literally every day here, and so we're going to have a brand new company. Maybe I'll get them to send me a direct feed into the room as well. I wouldn't mind at all, to be honest with you, because I definitely need to have my own line. Definitely. From the RCD and main breaker coming into the panel, you should use fuses rather than breakers. Helps a lot, in my opinion. Yeah. I wish I could make these calls right now, Jay, but I have to stay with the plan. I have to stick with the plan as far as my electricity. I have to continue to stay with it and then just trust that process, man. I just cannot start inserting ideas from everyone who's advising me. I'll just end up with a disaster. Will your listening rooms have windows? Yes, my windows will remain, just to get a feel to see how things look. The worst thing that can happen, if I hate them for whatever reason, I'll have the contractor come back next year and seal them up and I'm done with it. That's the worst thing that can happen. Nothing else. Are you enjoying this process and journey, or is it really? It's a combination of both, Byron. It is very stressful because there's a lot of confusion at times. I'm having to also do, a lot of research, and doing research also leads to points that are contradicting. Okay. One person will say this, the other person will argue as to why that's a bad approach. So I always catch myself in the middle between both arguments, right? Not knowing what to do. I also feel like it's cool because you wake up every morning and luckily I don't have a boss that I need to report to. Thankfully, I put myself in this position where I don't give a damn about having to be in a meeting to be part of someone else's business and make someone else rich or anything like that. I pulled myself out of corporate America 2 years ago, and it's the best decision I've made in my life. I make my own hours. I wake up whenever I want to. I go to sleep whenever I want to. I don't have to answer to nobody. Nobody. So it's beautiful to wake up, have my coffee, step outside. The workers are there. I'm talking to them. I'm shooting content. And in the meantime, my business keeps growing. I still keep generating sales. It's beautiful. It's the best thing ever. So there is a little bit of both, but I couldn't do it any better than what I am right now. I couldn't be happier. Jay, have I run into any surprises that you didn't foresee? Surprises would be, let me think about it. For the most part, David, not really, because I knew the different aspects of a room build that I needed to be aware of: electrical, the floor, the walls, ceiling. I would say, if anything, it was probably that I would start to spend even more money than I anticipated, to be honest, David. The money that I'm spending is more than I thought I would. But if it's, to be honest with you, if it makes sense to spend it, I'm willing to spend it. If it doesn't make sense, I'm not going to approve or sign off on anything that's unnecessary. That much I can tell you. But overall, to be honest, no, I don't really think that I miscalculated anything in terms of the legwork that it was going to take. And I also, I got to say this, okay? I happen to be blessed that I found the right home in the right neighborhood. I am super, super happy that I waited 18 months, 18 months to find the house that I currently live in now. That's how long it took me to find this house because I had a vision. I knew what I wanted. I knew what I was thinking about, and I needed to have the space. And this house has more than enough space. And so I am so happy about that. I am an expert in nothing and a novice in everything. Correct. The new beard looks great on me. Thanks, man. Just change it up from time to time, you know? Hello from Sweden. How do you plan the acoustic treatments for your rooms? My acoustic treatments will be done very differently than I did in the past. Okay. What I mean by that is once the rooms are complete, right? We got a floor, we got the walls in place, lighting, all of that, right? The equipment comes inside. Set up the equipment, then we begin to think about acoustic treatments, but it's going to be one step at a time, right? We're going to put first reflection point. We know we got to do that. We got to put some bass straps in the corners. We know we got to do that all the time. Okay. But because I'm doing this ISO wall treatment, which is essentially huge bass absorbers, basically, that's what these walls are. I got to really feel if I even need a lot of these bass straps because my whole room is a gigantic bass strap. The whole room. Both rooms will be gigantic bass straps, essentially. And so I want to do it one step at a time, right? I don't want to overdress the room. If I do that, I'm going to end up with a very quiet room that has no liveliness to it. And that's my biggest fear with this. This is why I am going to, yes, eventually I'm going to be talking to different companies that build acoustic treatments and obviously give them my take on how I want to approach this. For example, I know the first reflection point is a must, period. We know that. That will be done. A carpet, a sectional, rug in between the speakers, something that, helps you with brightness, and making sure that we have no floor reflections. We know we got to do that. Those are two things that I know I'm doing. The rest of it, I have to go and feel it out. When I feel that the room is getting too dead, then I'm pulling back some, if that makes sense. So that's the process that I have in my head as to how I want to treat the room. I am not going to buy an entire dress kit with 40 panels, put them up, and pretend that that is the best sound I can get out of my room. Jay, who will be the first guest in the listening rooms when they are done? That would be my wife. Have you probably did security for the rooms considered? Yes. So security. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have security in every corner, man. Every corner. We'll have security cameras, and including security cameras in the room. Believe it or not, in the corner, high up there in the corner of the rooms. Yes, I'll have that as well. I'll have one in each room. Of course you do. And I'll have two security guards outside in the form of two big Kanye Corso dogs too that will hopefully arrive next year. So we'll have those security guards in place next year too. It's about time, man. I've been wanting to get dogs and for a long time. I grew up with dogs and I haven't had a dog in like 30 years. Even though I've had many dogs when I was a little kid, I was a dog person. I've always been a dog person. My wife is a cat person, but I think it's time for us to bring two big dogs. And that allows me hopefully to get out there and walk them too in the morning, which I think would be kind of cool to do here in Texas. Have I discussed my network plan? Not yet, my friend. I first need to get through the big bulk, the most important aspects of what I'm doing. Eventually, yes, I will definitely want to bring the network conversation in place, but maybe who knows what? Maybe tomorrow I'll make some calls. Maybe tomorrow I actually will. I'm thinking about maybe calling tomorrow to see if he can drop a line already inside my room. Actually, that's not a bad idea. To be honest with you, now that you're telling me that, it's not a bad idea. Maybe I should insert a an Ethernet cable already, huh? Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I should insert them. Something to think about. While you have 8 gauge wires out of the wall, send them out and have them cryogenically treated. Danny erasers might be able to do them. I wish I could do that, man. It's just, dude, it's just too time consuming. I gotta keep pushing right now. Um, you've given me something to think about. Let's put it that way. You've given me something to think about. Jay, Troy from Joseph Crow Audio here in Canada make absolutely some of the finest speakers in the world. Joseph Crow Audio got best sound. Awesome. Great, man. Great, Scott. Never heard of the brand, but awesome to know. Thank you for introducing me to the brand. Do it right the first time. Yep, that's the plan. Doing it right the first time. Jay shouldn't talk to people who build recording studios. I have been getting emails from people who build recording studios, Scott. I have. And to be frank with you, the way they come at me is obviously with their own idea of how things should be done. The problem is that there are many ways to cook a steak. You ask what's the proper way to make a steak, you'll get 1,000 different answers, right? So ultimately, you have to go with your instinct. Ultimately. Jay, what's going to be in the reference room equipment wise? My best equipment that I have on hand. I cannot disclose the loudspeakers. All I've said about those loudspeakers is that they have been with me for 12 months. I got them in Halloween of 2024. Okay, so they have been with me for 12 months. At that time, I didn't even have a house picked out. I was in the process of looking at homes, but I had not found this house. And so here we are. So those are going to be my reference speakers. As far as amplification, it'll either be the Griffin Apex monoblocks, CH Precision M10s with the L10 preamplifier, or the Solution 701s with the 727 preamplifier. Those are the things that I'm thinking about. Those are the amplifiers I'm thinking about, and preamplifiers. As far as the DAC, more than likely the MSB Cascade will be my reference DAC in my reference system. What are you doing for the floor? Sorry if I answer that. That's epoxy is what I'm doing for the floor. Epoxy, and then I'm going to put a sectional rug, of course, on top, right? So a white, glossy white epoxy floor. Really beautiful, glossy white floor. Besides the room, is the house perfect, or are you also renovating some parts of it? The house is beyond perfect. We do have to make some tweaks, like a pantry for a lot of the kitchen stuff. We have to build one. We're going to have the same contractor actually build the pantry probably, and we're going to have the apartment is going to be also probably renovated. Right, we got to do some refinishing of the walls and repainting it and make it more modern for guests, right? That spend the night, or when my parents come in from out of town to spend, a few weeks here. We want to do that as well. Hang a big TV in that apartment as well, and internet access and all of that. So, are you going beyond what the human ear would hear? I have no idea. I have no clue. That's a good question, though, but I have no idea at this time. Are there solutions for acoustic treatment you can move as you change the speakers? Not that I know of, to be honest with you. The only thing I can think of is you have to hang them in a different spot. If you hang them on the wall, you can always remove them and hang them in a different spot. So that's the only thing I can think of. Hire an acoustician, someone that knows what they're doing instead of guessing. Agreed. And I may be doing that. I don't know yet. That might be something that I would like to do, and perhaps have someone here for a few days to definitely take some measurements of the rooms and then go from there and see where we start, where we end. All right, let's see. When will you have the housewarming pool and listening party? for those of us nearby. Right now, it will probably be, I would say, end of January. I would say realistically, because of all these delays with the electricity, and the electric company here, taking 3 to 4 weeks to give us power. That's going to put, I'm sure, some delays in the whole process. So if you want a room that sounds live, you need to Sun Diffusion as room treatment. Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying to you. Like, I need to do a lot of listening, and I need to do maybe some measurements, maybe, and see, because I'll tell you, look, even if I get an acoustician to come out, he measures the room, and we start to work with the panels, it doesn't mean I'm going to like the end result. Even if the room measures perfectly, that doesn't mean that I'm going to like what I'm hearing. I always got to go by what I hear. I also have to use my own instruments, my God-given instruments right here. I have to go by that as well. So there is some tunability that I'm willing to allow when it comes to using devices, but ultimately it's what I hear. Do I like what I hear or not? That's the bottom line. Evening from Scotland. Oh, Paul, glad I want to go to Scotland, Paul. I've never been there. I would. That's one of my go-to places. I have to be. It's on my bucket list. Scotland. I have to go there. I have to visit your country, man. I hope everyone is safe and well. Will you be installing audio grade electrical boxes from likes of? No, I will not be doing any audio grade electrical boxes. I am going to be doing some commercial boxes made out of copper, the Eaton boxes. And the reason for that is because that's what the project is calling for, the electricity part of the project. Eventually, can I see myself playing with audiophile grade boxes? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I think I want to build a foundation first, Paul, with good commercial grade products, quality products that I know are tested out in the field before I embark on trying a crazy audiophile grade panel, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm going to just build a nice foundation so that the future could be, very, very like promising if I want to upgrade other pieces of the electrical that does not require for me to pull wires out of the wall, because that I'm not willing to do anymore. Jay, might be nice to make acoustic panels that have art on them. So yes, Jay, that is a part of, that's something. The look of the room is just as important. I am not putting any old looking furniture or panels in the room. I don't want any. They need to look neat. They need to look the part. I need to have stuff that looks pretty, eye-catching. The system is going to be mind-boggling. The loudspeakers are beautiful in my opinion. I need to have beautiful electronics and a beautiful looking room, including acoustic treatments. Yes. Thank you, Kurt. Kanye courses are beautiful. We have 4. Max, you are lucky. I plan to only have 2, man. So that's it. 2 Kanye courses and nothing else, man. Sorry, meant Taurus. Yep, I know what you meant. And I'm aware of that. Someone in my hi-fi, ultra high-end member told me about them. So they have been repeatedly mentioned to me. And I am not opposed to doing them, but I got to get the foundation of the system, the electricity first, laid out properly. Then we get rolling. And then maybe in a year or 2 or 3 years, we may play with some of those Taurus pieces. Are you going to be doing anything power coming from the road to your listening room? Yeah, we're going to connect it to the meter, and then from the meter it goes to the sub panels. That's pretty much it. That's how it works. And there might be another trick that I'm going to be pulling, but I have not decided yet because it's costing about $9,000 for that extra trick. And so I haven't disclosed what that may be. It's power related. It is. But I'm still trying to convince myself if I should spend that kind of money. I'm also going to be doing the grounding portion of things, which I have not addressed yet. A copper rods inserted, 8 to 10 feet tall copper rods into the ground, maybe 3 of those. That's something that will also be done. Okay. Thank you for bringing us along the journey. It's a lot of work, but very exciting to see it's coming together. Stay strong. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate your well wishes, man. Your good wishes, excuse me. Thanks for doing this podcast, Jay. Many are living vicariously through your journey, man. I hope so, Jerry. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for me, right? It doesn't make sense for me to keep doing this if you guys are not enjoying it and somehow applying a little bit of what I'm doing to your own sound systems or rooms. I mean, or both, right? That's the whole purpose of sharing this. I'm learning as I go as well. I'm learning a lot as I go. But I also think, unfortunately, it's very costly to do this. It's not cheap. It's not cheap, guys. It's a huge business expense for me. Okay, it really, really is a huge business expense. I I truly don't know how I would have done this had I not prepared myself financially by working 2 or 3 jobs as I did in the past. I don't think I could have done this. It is an incredible financial commitment. And unfortunately, I can't call it an investment because it doesn't really raise my property value at all. It doesn't. Building sound rooms like I am does not raise my property value in the least bit. I could easily build an apartment on my property with the money that I'm spending in these 2 sound rooms. Think about that. I can easily build another apartment on, right here on my property. So, and that would certainly raise the value of this property. But you know how we are. We're audiophiles. We're crazy about the hobby. And clearly, this is part of a business as well. It's part of my own business. It's part of having a bigger YouTube presence. Once my rooms are built, there's not going to be any any doubts, any hesitations that I don't have the proper space, that I don't have the proper anything, right? There's not going to be no more doubters out there of any kind. Because I got to tell you, there were some doubters in the past in my last room, which I thought sounded pretty good to me, but that's my opinion. Of course, I'm biased. But now that you're part of this journey, now you're seeing where I'm going, how far I'm going when it comes to my when it comes to my room listening rooms. Do you plan to use copper from the street in for the electrical? The city only brings you aluminum. City, it does not bring you any sort of copper wire. They don't do that. And they will not do that. We asked that question. There is no copper wire from the transformer. The city will give you 200 feet of wire, and that's all aluminum. They're not going to give you any sort of copper wire. Okay. Then once I tie to that, I'll talk to my contractor to make sure that we're bringing copper wire through that conduit, right? So yes, for what I have to put in, yes, I plan to bring copper. But what the city is doing for me can only be done in aluminum. There's no copper option. I've always loved your brutal honesty, and I'm looking forward to your new rooms. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And stay tuned because it's going to get crazy nasty, man. Are you going to Capital Audio Fest this year? I am not, Anthony. Unfortunately, as you know, I'm in the middle of a build. I have no business at Capital Audio Fest at this time. I have many more important things to do here than to be at the show. I do plan to probably be there next year. Sat here listening to my Elbow Live album, and I know that you won't be able to wait until you're settling up your system, JM. And I can't wait, man. I dare to say I've had a little bit of anxiety, to be honest here. I've had some anxiety because of the fact that I don't have my sound system. And so I sometimes find myself with nothing to do with regards to like playing with equipment. And so I get a little bit down because of that. I can only watch so much television. I can only watch so much YouTube on my phone or my laptop. But me personally, it can get a little sad, a little lonely, I would say, not being able to play music and record short videos like I used to for you guys, and or music clips of the sound of what the system is sounding like, or doing content like that. I kind of miss doing those videos for you guys. I really feel like Now is when it's starting to really hit me, because I'm in no position to do that, and I won't be in any position to do that until next year now. So, but you know what? Once 2026 arrives, I'll go out with a bang. 2026, I think, will be one of the most successful years that my brand has ever seen. Scott, yes, I definitely will be at Expona. Expona is just, I got to go to that show. I mean, it's the biggest one that we have in the US. And I plan to be at Vienna if I have had a successful year in 2026 from January through May. If I have done really well, I plan to go to Vienna for sure. I would love to go to Vienna to be part of that new inauguration. Do I have any small systems in my main house? I don't have any, although I do have equipment on hand that I can utilize to put together a small sound system. But I haven't done it, to be honest with you. I haven't decided to do the legwork. I got some Wilson Audio, Sophia, yeah, Sophia's. I think they are. I got some Wilson Audio Sophias in boxes that I can probably bring in there, not too heavy, and maybe connect the sim audio integrated that I have for sale, the 641. And I could probably do that. You know, I just haven't had the desire to embark on doing any of that at this time. Yeah, man, a lot of people have been asking me, why don't I bring a system into the house? I get you, man, but I mean, remember, there's no acoustic treatment. The house it's got a lot of echo, man. A lot of echo, but I get you. I understand you. I got it. I got small speakers, like I said. I have some Wilson Sophias, and and I got an integrated that I can easily hook up to them and stream music that way. It shows, Jay, you look down. Hopefully, the family are all well and settled. Yeah, Kurt. Yeah, and thank you for your good wishes, man. Really appreciate it. Sadly, have to go. Hope to see you some more YouTube shorts this coming week. Yes, you are going to see some, Jay. Stay tuned. Keep watching. Keep liking my videos. Subscribing to my channel, of course. All greatly appreciated. Get a system in the house quickly. You're making me want to do it, man. Maybe I get out there today and dig up some speakers and maybe the integrated. Not a bad idea, right? Not a bad idea. So maybe so. Let's hit that like button, guys. Make sure you're subscribing. Thumbs up, please, everybody. I really appreciate it. Next, starting tomorrow, I'm going to be shooting the work that's going to start happening actually, and the biggest part of the process, which is to bring the line from the outside by the street, basically, into the sound room. So that all starts tomorrow, and also putting the A-gauge wire through the conduit, steel conduit. That's also going to start tomorrow. So I'm going to be filming a lot of that. You guys should take notes. You guys should take screenshots. All of that. And I'm going to try to give you as much detail as possible so that hopefully maybe you can apply some of it in your own rooms, and if it's not too much trouble, why not do it? If you can apply it, why not? Tiny system, near field. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's right. That way we can eliminate the system, the room, right? Forgot about that. Yeah. Lucky to get full fiber from exchange to my house last year when the village was upgraded from copper. Okay. Cool. Okay. Absolutely, Scott. Okay. Thanks for the updating content. Well, thank you for being here and joining my madness, actually. Some of you guys gave me a good idea for tomorrow, which is maybe I'll call my internet company and have them feed me a line already, since the walls are bare and open. Might be a good idea to do it. Might be a great opportunity to feed Ethernet on both ends, both systems already, right? Hardwire already. So great idea, guys. Thank you for that. Didn't think about it. Must be unsettling being at this stage of system setup, but it will be worth it in the end. It is very unsettling. It's sometimes a little bit depressing because you're nervous about the money you're spending and you're wondering, is this going to be a good sounding room? Are they going to sound great? Am I burning through cash and the end result not going to be what I expect it to be? Yes, there is so much of that uncertainty that goes through my head every day. But the problem is, how do I answer those questions unless I do it? There are some things out there that you can only answer by actually doing the legwork. And this is one of those things, right? This is one of those things. So we are just doing everything we can within, of course, my budget to the best of, our knowledge. I am making a long-term business investment, so no worries. Yeah, I see it as that. I see it as that. I see it as an opportunity to, obviously bring new clients, to come and listen to some ultra high-end gear in some serious rooms. Yes, I agree with all of that. So yeah, all of those things are very true. Got to push through. We all wish you the best. Yes, that's always the idea every day. But I am pacing myself, like I don't want to force workers to just keep working. If I see something where we need to stop and take a different approach, a different idea came in, I do that. Will your sound room allow you to plug some of your equipment into the crap, your electricity that your house is going, so you can compare sound from outlet to it? No, I won't do that. There's no point in that. There's no point in me comparing outlets from the house to outlets from the dedicated room. First of all, think about the amount of wires that we're talking. Think about think about relocating all those outlets to have them within reach of the amplifiers. Think about how many outlets we're talking about. It would be ridiculous to do a comparison like that. Way too many outlets, way too many outlets, and I think it's just room for more issues, for more noise, for more interference, and I want to avoid that. I think you should have left one large room. It's not that big. Then sit in the middle with one system on the end. Well, I separate the rooms, but my rooms, remember, they are going to be very isolated. My rooms are with the ISO wall treatment and incredible solid core doors. So I expect to be able to at least hear both systems and play them at the same time. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you'll be able to play them at 100 decibels, yeah, and not hear them. I think you should be able to play both systems. I'm hoping at least at an average of 80 decibels each, and not bleed sound to the adjacent room, if that makes sense. I think I should be able to at least get them both to play at 80 decibels without having to turn off one system. Yeah, I the internet part is going to be really interesting, because honestly, I think what I'm going to do for the internet is just have the internet company feed me a dedicated line with the fastest, the latest Ethernet cable that we have, whatever that may be, Cat 8. I don't know where we are right now. I'm going to just have them run the line, and from the inside of the room, I'll do all my trickery. I'll do all the cleanup. I'll do all the noise rejection and all of that. It's already a better sounding acoustics with one bigger room, especially on their 50-foot long. Yep. Will your sound allow for you to plug some of your equipment into the crappy general outlet? No, I already said it's not going to allow me to do that because I have that. Imagine that I have like 5 dedicated audiophile grade outlets. That means I got to bring another 5 non-audiophile dedicated outlets into the room. That's 10 outlets. It just would never work. You couldn't compare it properly unless you have the same number of outlets next to the audiophile grade outlets that I have in place. That's the only way you're going to be able to do a pure comparison, a real apples to apples. And so that's too much. 10 outlets, it's too much. I couldn't do it. If it's fiber internet, it may not be using Ethernet until the router. Yes, it's fiber internet. So you're right, Todd. The main house has fiber internet, but I don't know what they can do for me on the shop where the two sound systems are. I got to talk to them to see what they can feed me there, okay, so that I can feed both rooms. Because remember, both rooms need to have internet live, a live feed. Okay, I'm not going to do any Wi-Fi routers or anything like that inside. The only Wi-Fi I can anticipate doing is probably like you know, the smoke detectors or something like that, or maybe the camera, something like that. That's the only thing I can think of. The camera is probably the only thing that I'll do Wi-Fi inside the rooms because of how easy it will be to incorporate it in the rooms. When doing underground, are you going to install an extra empty conduit for fiber? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I'll do I think the conduit for fiber would probably, if anything, comes from the roof, from the attic of my house. They may have to grab it from the top because that's where it is right now for the house. And if I want to get it where the rooms are, they can go through the top, through the roof of the house to my shop where my two sound systems will be. So I don't think it has to go through underground, like underground, if they're gonna take it from the top, from where it currently is, which is in the second floor of my home. I currently own Magical and love the sound. Do you think it's worth upgrading to the new S2? I assume I upgrade. Yeah, absolutely, Steven. The S series is superior to the A series. It's a far better speaker, the S2. Far better speaker. Absolutely. I mean, it's really, really a superior speaker. As good as the A3 is, I mean, the S2 is better even than the A5. You know, it's a really superior design, and I like what Magico is doing with their latest creations. I think Magico has completely gone far above and beyond what they have done in the past. I like what their new sound to me is more appealing than their earlier sound signature, if that makes sense. And I know some of you may say, well, it's colorless. I mean, if you ask a lone wolf, he's going to tell you his speakers don't have any sound to them. They're very neutral. But what I'm saying is, I like this new tweeter, this new material. I like how things are sounding better than the original Magical sound. Okay, I do enjoy the current sound of the new Magical loudspeakers more than ever. And by the way, that doesn't mean that the A3 that you have is not great. I think it's a fantastic speaker too. Why only one 220 outlet? Because typically the only thing that I get in a 220 volt configuration are amplifiers. And so a 220 volt outlet will allow me to bring, hypothetical, let's say I get relentless monoblocks from D'Agostino. My outlets will have sufficient power. One outlet would have sufficient power to probably power both of them. Okay, because I'll have the right configuration, the right eight gauge wire behind them. So I can easily set a pair of monoblocks there, you know, that are 220 volts, no problem. So that's only one. The only reason why I only have one. I don't need more than one. I think one is sufficient, more than sufficient, because I'm not planning on having a DAC in 220 and also a preamplifier and also 2 amps. Usually it's just amplifiers. Usually that's all it is, you know. And sometimes I have amplifiers that change voltage real time, and so I can try them in 220 or in 120. I can just switch plugs right there on the spot and see if I like the sound better in 220 than in 120. That's why. Any insights on the new LA, or I think you mean lab. I think that's what you're talking about. If you just got here, Fernando, maybe you should watch the whole video. I've been talking about different things that could be of interest to you. Okay, let's see what else we got. Where are we at? Any other questions from anybody? Okay, any new insights on the new lamp insator? No insights at this time. I think there's only one person that owns it in the USA, and they have like a weekend there, like a show, if you will. That's the only person that I know of. There isn't any solid feedback on that lamp and Seder right now, like trustworthy feedback. Okay, not right now. That's not to say that it's not a great piece. I think the lamp and Seder builds amazing decks, but um, I don't really know of anyone that can give me solid feedback on it. That's an actual end user right now. Maybe at some point next year I could have one. I don't really know. I'm sure I can get one next year, but for the time being, I'm going to go with the Horizon 360 on one room, and then I'm going to go with the Cascade in the second room. Those are going to be my two decks. Would going off the grid make a difference for your power? I'm sure it makes a difference. The question is it a good positive difference or a negative difference? That's the question that no one can answer. And unless you have the right electric system, like what I'm trying to do now, right? To compare it against, let's say, a Strom tank, it's hard to say. Because how many people do you guys know right now that have pushed their electrical system, their electrical wiring, and all of that in their sound rooms to the extreme that I'm doing? How many do you guys know factually and been inside those rooms to talk about what you heard? Not many people. Not, I haven't. I mean, I may have, maybe. Yeah, the Magical Factory actually. The only room that I can say. Well, no, Ron. Ron here in Texas has a great room, fantastic room, but I don't know that I saw enough information about the electrical system and how far he went. Maybe he did go as far as I have gone. I don't know. Maybe he went above what I have done. I don't know. I need to look at his channel and see if I can locate some videos. But outside of that, I don't know of anyone else that has really gone to the great lengths like I have when it comes to their power. The width of my rooms is 17 feet by 25 long or 25 deep and 11-foot ceilings. So I like the 11-foot ceiling better than 10. I think 11 is going to be also give you the feeling of more space when you're hanging out inside the rooms. It's not going to feel so crammed in there. You're going to feel like there's more space to spread out, if that makes sense. And I wanted to also have that feeling where I'm not there like feeling like I'm in a cave, right? I want to have enough space in both rooms and the windows to also look out the window, you know. So, all right. So, anybody else have any questions? Think that's about it. I have gone all questions. Anyway, guys, thank you for your support. Thank you for everything you do for me. Please make sure you are watching my videos next week and hitting the like button every time you see them. Just hit that like button automatically every time you see a video pop up. Hit that like button. It helps me get more subscribers. Okay, I want to get to 40,000 subs soon. That's my goal. Can I reach it before the end of the year? You guys can be an instrumental part of that. If you hit that like button, you're going to help me get to 40,000 subs before the end of the year. There's only like 58 days, 59 days before the end of the year. So I think I can make a strong push towards 40,000 subs. Okay. But I need your help. I need you to do this every time you see one of my videos. Just do this. Just hit that like button quickly. Do that automatically. Don't even think about it. Just do it every time. That will help me get to 40,000 subs sooner. Okay. So thank you for that again, for your support, for watching me today. And I will be in touch with all of you next week. I will be making more content, really cool short videos. And do not forget to see my website, jaysaudiolab.com, for a lot of great new listings that I have created recently. Okay. A lot of great product for you to check out. And again, I do take trade-ins. If you have any trades that you want to put towards the purchase of a product that I'm selling, I'm all ears. Okay. Talk to you guys soon. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.